Hi, Steve here. Welcome to our channel Patio Heat, where we provide visual concepts of infrared heating as well as tips for ideal patio comfort. Check out our patioheat.com website for sales and more information. I appreciate it if you would tap that like button as it helps others find our channel. Now let's get heating. Alright, so here you'll see we have been provided a floor plan as well as elevation for this structure. There is two different structures that are being built here, this main patio section here, and then also a breezeway back here. They asked that we not focus on that breezeway at all, so I didn't build that out. Here you see I have this structure as a open area up here, and then we have this floating lattice space up here, and I'm going to describe some of what I did here. So the other thing, well, let's go ahead and go right into the dimensions first. Dimensions I have overall is about 19.5 feet wide by 21 and 3 inches depth here. I have a height at the bottom edge of this section up here at 9'1.5", and then at the peak is 19.6 and a half roughly. All right. So the other thing I want to mention is with this floating lattice up here, that limits where we can actually place a heater below that. Oh, and also I should mention that their plans did show for some fans in here as well. And so I placed the 3 fans according to where I saw them on the plan. But I also put this this little area here. You'll see I have about 297 square feet. And so that's my focal point for this section of the heaters. And then this is a separate area. This is going to be a barbecue here, and obviously a countertop, and I would imagine there'd be some seating outside here. So that's about it. Now with the, I'm going to take away the floor plan, etc. here, and so we're just going to concentrate on the structure here. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the dimensions. All right, so as you can see, I put some notches in here, and I'm going to concentrate on this space here first off, and that would be placing some very low output slimline units. These are 2400 slimlines, and what I've done is just notched out one of the, well, rather two of these lattice pieces here. And I'm not sure how they would be able to incorporate this hanging off of there, maybe building a bracket that went across here, eliminating this bracket, or even just cutting this bracket and putting something above that, cutting the bracket so you can move it down, punch a new hole in it at an appropriate location, and then so that this bracket would maybe meet to the top elevation of this here and across here, and you could put a bar across or something of that nature. That would be an idea. Now, just to show you with the clearance, what I've done here is we need 6 inches of clearance around the heater, and I think the plan showed it at 9 inches upon center on each one of these lattice pieces. So that would be 9 inches here, and that would be 18 across here. So I just have a few fractions of an inch of clearance here, but that's enough. And of course you wouldn't want to put wood on top. That little bracket I was talking about should be steel, and that'll give you the clearance you're looking for above. And then we'll look at the clearance below. I have the heater mounted so that its finish is at the same elevation, the bottom edge of the heater, the bottom edge of the lattice pieces, and that'll give us the clearance all the way below. And you can see here we're not penetrating the columns as well with this location. Now this section I have at 6 inches, I believe, off this edge here, or it might be 6 inches to the outside edge. I don't remember that exactly. That's probably outside there. In any case, you'll see that with this setup, you know, these heaters here, and then I also put one kind of central. I moved it 2 feet in because this would be the countertop for the barbecue here. And let me just turn off the clearance here. And you can see with that placement here, and I'll go ahead and turn the ray on this, you'll see the placement on that will give you just some room to entertain as well as cook and you know, be with your guest out here. And then also you'll see that this is a very low output application here, so you won't get too hot. Now I'd probably put these on individual switches so that, you know, one guest might prefer heat and one not. You might also consider just putting all 3 of these on a zone control and allow it to dim high and low. So alright, so that's the lattice area. I'm going to just leave that lattice area like it is. I'm not going to make any more changes to that. That's the best recommendation I can come up with here. Alright, so now going inside here, with the fan locations, I would really recommend maybe, I mean, I'm sure this customer wants these fans in here based on where they're at for the summer or something of that nature, but I'm going to recommend that maybe you place a fan in the center of the space, maybe a larger fan. But with the fans here, there's not much I can do, so I'm going to just ignore the fans for right now and give you my best recommendation without the fans there. Alright, so my first recommendation would be something like this, where we place 3 of these 6,000 watt, these are CD6024 electric heaters. Now these are 25 amps a piece. I know that this customer also has limitation about how many amps they will have for this overall project. But with the heaters, that little splotch I showed you, let me just put that back on here for a second. There we go. There it is. All right, so this 297 square feet would require, on a 6,000 watt unit, 4 units basically. And you can see I've cut out this lattice piece here, so I'm not counting that. And that alone would call for 4 of the 6,000 watt units. The other thing I look at is the footprint of a 6,000 watt unit, and you can see that the footprint is fairly decent for this space. And so I would say that, you know, this would work for this application, just 3 units. It's not the ideal that I would choose if I could, but it's something that would in fact work. I'm trying to turn that off, sorry about that delay. And actually I did bring it out to the edge here, so it's, yeah, it still is about right. And I think what I have here is about 4 feet in from this edge to the center of the heater, and then 4 feet in from this edge to the center here. And then I've just took this space here and divided it in half, and then centered, you know, these 2 units in the first half, and then centered this unit in that half. And that's from this wall or countertop wall to the outside edge there. Alright, so that would be this application with 6,000 watt units. And I want to show you also what gas heaters would look like, because he did say that there are some gas units out there. So gas heaters, these are 34,000 BTU. You can get the TSH, or you can get the just the S25. They're located in the same location, centered this exact same way. They're 34,000, so with that square footage, it would call for basically 2.4 units. So, but 2.4 units wouldn't give you a full coverage, so I'm putting the 3 units in there, and that would be adequate, and that would be ideal for Southern California climate. with the 34,000 BTUs for each unit. Now the only issue with this is that we need ventilation. So what I've done here is I've moved their decorative piece up here, and I moved it up, I believe, 12 inches higher so I can get the opening. You might want to put like a louver type of decorative place here where you can have a pass-through of movement of air, so that when the exhaust flows out of the heater, it goes up high like a hot air balloon, and then it would travel through the place of least resistance, which would be this opening here, and it would evacuate into the atmosphere without overheating anything that might be located up above here. You know, you might have lights, the speakers, maybe a television set somehow up here. So that would be my ideal application, is these 3 SunPack units, gas units. Okay, and then in combination of use with the Infratech over here. So like I said, I'm leaving these just like it is. All right, so my least favorite option would be something in the nature of placing the units in the same location but up against the edge here and here. And you can see here with the units, so it's a pretty hot unit at this elevation. So if you're sitting here and you needed enough heat over here, you'd have to put the units on full, so the person sitting here would not be as comfortable as the person sitting over here, let's say. And I have these at, I believe, 55-degree angles from out and then down at 55. You can go to 60, I believe. And these are 6,000 watt units again. And you can see my construction here. This is a little bit different height over here than it is over here. I've centered this unit here, should be centered, but I guess I missed that. So let's just move that real quickly here. I like it kind of in the center of the space here. Still didn't work. Let's see here. Alright, there we go. And so that should be like approximate location, so it's kind of hidden that way. But in any case, this would work. It just wouldn't be my ideal application. I would just think that if you were sitting out here, you'd be a little bit hotter than the center. Even though there's overlapping, you know, these heaters are designed to put out an amount of heat to maximize out at about 10 feet. And so if you're at, let's say, 10.5 feet, you're not as intense as intense amount of heat that you would like to be in order to feel comfortable. But there is overlapping, so it would work here. It's just that if the ray was here at full temperature, this area here would be too hot, in my opinion. So that's my concern with this application here. I'd probably go with 4,000 watt units, but then in here you wouldn't feel the heat at all. So that's my least favorite. In any case, that's what I have for you. I'm just going to turn the gas units back on, because that is my favorite there. There we go. And that's how the overall application should look. Alright, if you're looking for some assistance with your outdoor heating application and you would like us to review your plans, I'm Steve. Send your information to designs@patioheat.com. We appreciate you looking and watching this video. Please give us a thumbs up. It helps others find the channel. We don't advertise, we don't monetize, and we thank you very much. You have a great day.